Hello, welcome to Access. I'm Rob. Joining us is Dave.
Hello.
Gran Turismo 7 is out. It's out now on PS4 and PS5. Dave and I have been playing it a lot over the last week. I absolutely love it, Dave.
Me too.
I absolutely love it. And it surprised me, to be honest, because, you know, I'm not a massive fan of cars.
No.
And this game has just captured me in a way that I just did not expect.
I'm really excited because I don't really love cars, but I do like racing games and driving games, and I knew I was very excited for GT7, and I'm really, really excited that you love it too. It's so cool to get to, you know, talk about it with you.
We were having some great races.
I know.
Just so exciting. But anyway, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why we believe it's the ultimate driving game.
Definitely.
I mean, Gran Turismo as a series has always been, you know, the benchmark against which all other driving games are measured. And I think Gran Turismo 7 is a return to those. It reminds me of those amazing days back on PS1 when everyone was just wowed and amazed by it. It's so comprehensive. The first reason, Dave, it's quite a simple one. It's just the handling of the cars.
Yeah.
Like, it's really made me realise, just like, as soon as I get a new car and I try it out, I can feel the difference.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably sounds like an obvious thing to say, but it's so subtly done that you get used to a car and you drive a new one. It's like when this morning I took my actual car for its MOT and I drove to work in a courtesy car.
Yeah.
And you get that weird sort of feeling where I know how to drive, but this feels a little bit different.
Yes.
Everything feels very slightly different in this car. And it's like that in GT7 with the DualSense wireless controller. Like, everything feels very slightly different when you get behind the wheel of a new car in a really exciting way.
Yeah, it's an absolute triumph how they do that. I don't know how they do that because it is obviously, you mentioned the DualSense there, and I mean the haptic feedback obviously is amazing. The adaptive triggers help as well. There's lots of different uses of those, but it's more than that. It's like the sound, and it's just the way the cars move. Like, I think even if I was playing with a controller that had no sort of vibration functionality whatsoever, you would still know the way the car is handling. You can still feel, like, visually and with the audio, you can see how the car is moving around on the track and when it's like losing power, and I don't know, it's incredible.
I can't get over how it does it. Like, I've been tuning my car up, and I've been putting, I put some super soft, some sport soft tyres on it. Yeah. And the difference in cornering, the grip you get when you're going around a corner is amazing, and almost in quite a terrifying way. Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm still not sliding off, and I'm going really fast around this bend, and the car is sticking, and it just feels so satisfying.
It has made tuning exciting. I am so excited to take my car to the tuning shop,
it's
put
so
some
nerdy.
bits on it, and then take it on the track. I put some soft tyres on my classic Mini. I felt like I was cheating. It was so grippy, and it's so nippy anyway. But I was just like driving around cars. I can't believe the grip.
bombing around them.
But it's so exciting now, tuning the car and taking it on the track. I can't wait to feel how it's changed.
I like just driving them, not even in a race. You just take it out on the track for a little drive. And that's the thing about Gran Turismo. It's not necessarily just about racing.
Definitely not.
It's just about enjoying the cars.
Yeah, it is. It is all about the love of cars. And you're absolutely right. Racing is really just part of it.
And the second thing, this leads into the second thing, which is just the visual detail and care that's been lavished upon these cars. They just look ridiculously gorgeous. When you go into the garage in the game, you just get you can press L1 and R1 to cycle through views of whatever car you've got out your garage at the moment. And I can't get enough of it. I can just sit there for 10, 15 minutes at a time, looking at the interior, looking at the brake lights, looking at the bonnet, looking at the seats.
Why is it so interesting? These are things we see every day in the real world, and I have no interest in them whatsoever. But in Gran Turismo, the attention to detail is just, I'm in awe of it, and I will look at every little detail and be wowed by it. I think you sort of touched on it. Something we're going to probably say again and again in this video is just like the real sense of love in the game
Yes.
for its subject, which is cars.
Yeah.
It's not just racing, it's the cars. And it wants you to love cars, whether that's racing them, whether that's just looking at them, taking photos of them, whatever. And I think, you can feel that all the time. And it is in the detail.
Yeah.
There's detail in there that really doesn't need to be in there.
Scapes is a part of that, Dave, which is also part of this entry where there's a couple of different Scapes modes. There's like a mode where you can just watch your car drive. The game will do it for you. You can just watch your car driving around some beautiful locations from around the world.
Yeah.
And obviously the game's sort of like, it's almost like a model. It's like saying, take a photo of me, please. And you can obviously share screenshots of it. But then there's like a separate Scapes mode where you can take whatever car you've got out the garage at the moment, and there's so many locations to choose from. Castle Combe is in there, Dave.
Really?
A little tiny village, literally about 2 miles from my house.
That's amazing.
A little Cotswold village.
Yeah.
And I've been there, I've walked there. Now I can put my car from Gran Turismo 7 across the little bridge in Castle Combe that I like walking across.
That's amazing. You should take your courtesy car to Castle Combe later and take some photos of it.
My Hyundai i10.
Yeah.
Yes. But also there's so many locations. Malta is in there, a place I've been on holiday loads. But there's also, you've got incredible scenic views like mountain roads, underground warehouses, car parks. I've seen some people sharing photo mode pictures online. It's photorealistic. It's ridiculous.
It is insane.
It's so ridiculous.
I saw your photos on Twitter. They were absolutely incredible.
I tell you now, they don't come close to some of the others I've seen.
Yeah.
Like some of the composition, the lighting, amazing. And it's such a nuanced photo mode. We're getting spoilt with photo modes at the moment. Like Horizon Forbidden West has a really good one, but Gran Turismo 7's takes it to a level of depth that is frankly ridiculous. I mean, Kazunori Yamauchi, he loves cars, obviously, but he's also a keen photographer, as we've mentioned in a previous video, and it's evident.
It's fantastic as well, because I think my natural thing, the way I would play a game like GT7 is just to keep getting a better car.
Yeah.
Better car, and then I just leave the other cars behind, forgotten.
Yeah.
And this actually gives you so much more to do with your collection of cars. It makes collecting the cars a joy, because you're not just trying to race all the time. You're not just trying to get the fastest car to win the race. You're also just enjoying having the cars and taking photos of them, taking them out on the track. It makes it changes. It's about the love of cars. It's not just like, I want the best car in the game, because there isn't a best car in the game anymore in that way, because there's so much more you can do with them.
Yes.
You might want a car that looks a certain way that you can't wait to take to Castle Combe and take some photos of, or whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. The third thing, Dave, they're all sort of bound together, all these points. The third point is the almost unnecessary attention to detail, not just on the cars, but throughout everything in the game.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the way they've realistically coded cloud formation in various locations around the world, so that clouds form realistically depending on where you are. But there's so many things I've noticed, Dave, whilst playing the game. The replay modes in particular, they've always been good in Gran Turismo, but I particularly love the sway of grass. When you get a shot that's down by the verge and your car races past, there's like a little as the wind ripples through the grass. I can watch that over and over. I think it's amazing.
I think also the sound, I really noticed yesterday. We were doing some capture for this video, and the best way to do capture is to turn off the music sometimes, so we did, and it meant that I just listened to the car sound. And particularly during the replay, I was watching a replay of a race we did, and I just love the long shot when the camera's far away from the action. You hear the distant rumble of the cars, they closer and closer and closer, and shoot past. It's really amazing.
A little heat shimmer coming off the track. We had a race in the rain. You turn the music off, like you say, Dave, and you hear the rain not just falling on the track in replay mode, but falling against the windscreen. The sound of the windscreen wipers, and also the feel of the windscreen wipers within the DualSense wireless controller, just a little it's just so satisfying.
It is. Oh, we should talk about washing your car, Rob.
I was going to talk about that. That's another unnecessary detail. One of my favourite things to do is just to wash my car. Even when it doesn't need doing, I will do it.
And the the feeling of your car being washed is insane.
We got Ash in, didn't we? It was like, Ash, come here.
You got to hold this.
Just hold the DualSense and wash your car.
Wash the car and enjoy. And the glug of the oil when you do an oil change is so great. And as you say, I love it most of all because it's completely unnecessary.
It doesn't need to be there, right? It just doesn't need to be there.
No.
And it's just something they've added in. Like you get the sound comes out of the DualSense wireless controller as well when you fill or you do the oil change.
Yeah.
You get the sound of the gluk 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 coming out of the DualSense wireless, and it feels like liquid is filling up inside it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I love it.
The fourth thing, Dave, well, we're going to go on to the sound now. We've just touched upon it there, but the sound is absolutely amazing. Music is a big part of Gran Turismo. There's the new music replay, and there's also the music rally mode, which we've talked about in previous videos. But aside from that, it's just the sound everywhere in the game. Like you said, if you've got a compatible pair of headphones and you can enjoy the 3D audio when you're in a race, you don't necessarily need to be looking behind you and to the side to know that there's a car. You can hear cars coming up behind you and to the side of you, and it's so incredibly immersive.
It really is. I think sound is often overlooked, the importance of it, because you can't see it. It's more of a feeling that you get, and because it sounds so good, sometimes you don't even realise you're hearing it because it becomes just, your senses just take over, and like you said, you just accept that there's a car next to you. You don't think, wow, that's really good sound. And I love my favourite view. It's not necessarily the best view for going the fastest, but I love the interior view, and the sound in the interior of the car is just like perfect. And each car has its. You can hear like how shielded the car is from the outside world by the sound of it, its own engine and the other cars around you. It's fantastic. Going through a tunnel. I love going through a tunnel.
Going through a tunnel, coming out of the tunnel, and then just going into replay mode after and hearing those sounds as well. Just, it never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
The final point, Dave, and again we've touched upon this as well, is that this is a game that will just make you love cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not fussed, really, to be honest, about cars, but playing Gran Turismo 7, even for the relatively short time that I've played it so far, I have some favourite cars now. I really like my Subaru BRZ STI Sport Edition 2018, Dave.
Wow.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I've tuned it up a bit. It's got the sport soft tyres. It's just glorious to drive. Absolutely glorious to drive. Before that, I was a big fan of my Suzuki Swift, the 2007 model. There's also the 2017 model that I've got, but I prefer the 07.
Classic.
And I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth,
Neither
Dave.
can I.
I honestly can't believe it. But it's almost like... I don't want to get too ridiculous about it, but it's like you get to know your cars.
Yeah, definitely.
And you get to form a bond with them, and you know them by name. I mean, I've not actually come up with names for them. I know the make and model. But I could definitely see myself coming up with a name for my absolute favourite.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying learning about the history of cars as well.
I love that.
There's loads of that. So you, in the game, in the campaign, you will go into the cafe and you'll get like a menu which will task you with collecting 3 of a specific type of car, for instance. And once you've collected those 3 cars, you'll get just a little lesson about how they're made, why they're made the way they are made, where they're made, like the history and the context around that type of car. And it almost makes me feel a bit guilty about owning my cars in real life that I've owned and not really giving it a second thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I've really felt that. Like, cars are just a sort of everyday bit of life.
Yeah.
And that's so sad because I've loved learning. Like, I think it's great because it's just the right amount. It's just a little bit of history. Here's a little thing, why these cars are important and what they meant for the world of cars and then the world. And I've really enjoyed that too. Just that bit of context has changed how I think about cars.
It is just a little bit as well, but there's more in there if you want. Like, you can go into the garage and there's like detailed info on every car. And there's like an in-game character, I think his name's Chris, who's in the cafe, who if you talk to him, he'll give you I love the way he talks about cars.
Yeah.
Just, it's the kind of game that clearly, if you're speaking to someone who's passionate about something and they're passionate enough about it, whatever it is, you can't help but have some of that rub off on you.
That's so true.
And Gran Turismo 7 is that. It's like, cars are amazing. Don't they look beautiful?
Yeah.
Isn't the history of them fantastic? And I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rob. It's just a massive love letter to cars. Not just racing, but cars. And it's so well done. And I totally agree. Like, you can't not fall in love with it. It's so lovely and joyous.
Yeah, it's a luxurious game. We were saying yesterday on our live stream, it feels like you're holding a luxury product.
Yeah.
And it's not pretentious in any way at all about it. It's not condescending. So for someone like me who genuinely knows very little about cars, it doesn't feel like I'm being talked down to by the game. It feels like the game's just like, please come and share in this wonderful thing that I love.
Yeah.
And it's a very welcoming. I found it a very welcoming experience.
I totally agree. Like I said, there isn't a best car. I think my favourite car that I own at the moment is my classic Mini. And, you think usually, I've got to race this Mini to get the next car. I love that Mini.
Yeah.
It's so nippy and so much fun to drive. And I think that's just
lovely,
that's a perfect
lovely
example.
steering wheel.
I'm not like, when can I get the Ferrari? I'm like, I will get a Ferrari, but I will still be driving my Mini as well because I love it and it's great fun and totally different to the Ferrari.
Yeah, you don't want to be putting a Ferrari in Castle Combe.
No.
That needs a Mini, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there are 5 reasons that we believe Gran Turismo 7 is the ultimate driving game, and I guess you could say really the ultimate car game.
Yeah,
because it's not, whilst driving is obviously a big part of it, there's a lot of
so
other
much more.
The ultimate car appreciation game.
Very much so.
And Gran Turismo 7 is out now on PS5 and PS4. Please let us know if you're going to be picking up the game. Let us know in the comments what your favourite car is. And please do give this video a like and subscribe and click the notification bell if you haven't already done so to make sure you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation.